What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Midnight Happy Hour. It's your boy Monk. It's your boy Lou, live from Twitter jail. Elon, his cell daddy, right behind him, making sure we are all above board. And we do something different this week than we usually do. Happy to do it as well. We've got a special guest here, the Dogfather, in to join us for UFC 299, 14 fights. I know I'm looking forward to it. What about you guys? Dogfather, you looking forward to this one? Thank you for being here, first of all. 14 fight banger card to get into.
Yeah, 14 fights. I'm really excited. This is probably one of the best cards of the year. I know last week was probably the best card of the year, but this one might be a second best because we got to see Loic Rajabal fight, which was just absolute fucking scenes.
Starting a card with that was awesome, dude.
That was great. I mean, that was that was great. That was great. Great start. This is an amazing card. Really excited to be on. Thank you guys for having me. And excited to hear what the clam or yam bag special is this week.
Lou, are they feeding you okay in there? You look all right. Not too gaunt.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. They let me out. I got 2 hours of entertainment for good behavior, not my standard one.
Nice.
I want to thank Dogfather for coming on, and this is a good transition. So he mentioned Loic, and for all you guys worried, he's in Twitter jail, free Lou. Without this, I was always in Big Steve's Discord, but I've embraced it. And I'm a soccer guy, so I was always dealing with the fucking assholes and that. The three of us just talking about the dumbest bets we can make. But I love it in there, man. It's sharp people, it's fun. But during that Loic fight, it's you got people live betting fucking Al Zawadi after 1, and then after 2 you got people being Loic's plus 260, fire on him live, and dude, just the crazy swings in the first fight of the night. It was awesome.
I bet I got to bet Loic plus 500 after round 2 there, and he knocked him out in the first 30 seconds. It was amazing.
And my favorite part was, if you're a fan of the show, and Monk knows how much I hate juice parlays. The AKA the Connie J special.
Yep.
When it didn't look like it was so good going to round 3 for the Snow Leopard, we're juice boys everywhere, freaking the fuck out. Dogfather, what do you have? Did you get him live or did you have him pre-fight?
I got Zahabi plus 600 in the middle of round 2 when the round was 50-50, and I'm this is really close. And then he dropped him with that right hand. So yeah, I had 2 really crazy live bet spots this weekend that was just that, literally within an hour and a half of each other. So pretty
I had no bet on that. I had no bet on that, and I like Javid Bashrat, but I'm always happy when people's fucking
parlays lose. Yeah, it's the best feeling.
When the one parlay that everybody in the community had went down in flames because you added 8 cents. You added 8 cents to your $20 parlay by throwing a minus 900 in there. You got what you fucking deserve, dude. But overs gang, stand up. I hit my one bet last week.
I took that was my one bet that I really liked last week. And I had to remember I was the Cunningham over is going to be great, and then he died so fast.
Monk and I have talked on the show. One of my favorite bets ever was the Malarkey decision against Prado. And when people say, they're oh, this is going to fucking end quick. I'm nope. And then people think, oh, this fight's boring. Dude, I'm standing on my 3rd round. I'm you take him down, Jamie. Don't get up. And the ref got him up and he took him right back down. I'm
thank you, Jamie.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the most, just like the Pedro fight. I'm this is the most glorious, boring first round I could have asked for. Dude, this would have been a red card and 1 for inactivity.
Yeah, Herb Dean would have been waving a red card freaking immediately.
But before we move on, Monk and Mr. Father, there's one fight I want to address from last week. I got the pick wrong on the show. I don't really care. The Sopaj Vinicius fight last week was just what the fuck was that, dude?
So
that
was
fucking tremendous.
I was at work.
Dude, Sopaj is kicking his ass. He gets reversed and then dies on the most vicious KO of the year. Like the most gross, amazing, like tremendous shit. So
I was at work and I watched the first round and I was like, oh, this isn't good. I picked Oliveira. I was like, well, this isn't good. I'm going to go outside. I come back in like 4 minutes later and I'm like, the fight's still happening. This is crazy. And so I watched in the third round.
Rick killed the guy.
And then he fucking died. Oh my God. What a brutal, brutal knee. I love how Sopaj really just squared his chin right in front of it and looked at it the whole way in. Oh my God. I mean, if that's not contender for KO of the year, I don't know. Well, I know it's still early, but Jesus Christ, if we get 5 KOs more vicious than that, oh my goodness.
Well, the worst part was you could have argued that should have been stopped already because he was like stumbling around, and then they just decided it was a great time to hit him with a jumping switch knee and kill him. So, jeez. And then he couldn't even like walk afterwards because his calf was getting lit up the whole time. So
that was brutal,
life-changing knockout, and his calf is just fried the whole time. Just absolutely brutal.
Was that performance or fight?
Both.
Okay, good. So they both got paid then.
Yeah, but
my guy Juicy Q knows what I was looking for, man. He knew. He knew like this is the only prop I want. I want a number on this one.
Yeah, so Oliveira got 100K because he had performance of the night and fight of the night.
My God, that was quite
get to this card,
quite the thing. Well, yeah, let's get to this one. I know Lou put them already up on the screen. Mushroom, Jenna, Steve Gregory, one of my faves. Juicy, Silky, Daz, one of my other faves. I mean, everybody's.
Don't worry about Steve Gregory
here. Don't worry about Steve. I'm waiting. Steve Gregory cracks me up every fucking week.
He's giving Roma plus 0.25. Fuck this guy.
I was wondering what the hell he was talking about. I was like, who the hell's was that? Tony Roma? Tony Roma's ribs?
Exclusively a Dutch soccer show. Thank you very much. It's exclusively Dutch soccer.
Well, speaking of Dutch soccer.
Out of my ass.
Whoops. And of course, I'm already messing up. Marina Marose. First fight of the night, taking on Joanne Wood. UFC 299. Plus 160 doesn't go. Minus 200 does go. Marose is a minus 229 favorite in the women's flyweight division, one of the premier DraftKings divisions in all of the UFC. Never forget. 9K for Marose, 7,200 for Wood. I'll just kind of start most of these really quickly with the DraftKings breakdown, and then I'll flip it around between you guys.
Take your time, sir.
I love Marose here. There's two things. You're either going to pick the OnlyFans fade or you're going to pick the retiring fighter fade. I think the retiring fighter fade is stronger. So I'm picking Marina Marose here. She beat up a crackhead a few fights ago. If she can beat up a crackhead, then anything's possible. I don't see why she can't beat a retiring Joanne Wood, who scores well when she wins, Joanne Wood, but when she loses and gets subbed, which she has been subbed 5 times in her career, it tends to happen in the very first round, like constantly over and over and over again. So Marose has 6 subs on her career. Last one was round 2 against aforementioned crackhead. And yeah, I think she can get a sub here, maybe even round 1. Love this as a sneaky play in the 9K range. So I love Marina Marose this week. Let's start with the Dogfather himself. Why don't you, what do you got for this one here?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything to be said, crackheads are, extremely motivated at all times.
Resilient.
Yeah, and they never quit because they always have to get their fix. And I might have to get some fix on Marina Marose here, not only because her OnlyFans is, I would assume, fantastic just based on her Instagram, but in this spot, I really do feel like she has a bit of a grappling edge here. Her wrestling is not good, but it's kind of funny. You see how many kicks and teeps and leg kicks that Wood throws, and I can just see a kick getting caught or something, stuck in an arm or somebody falling over, and Marose getting on top here and submitting her. And I know, everybody says Marose wrestling sucks, but it's like, if you watch Wood fight, there's so many opportunities for Marose to just luckily catch a kick or parry a teep out of the way and just fall on top of her. And then at that point, watching, Wood in grappling transitions, it looks like she's stuck in molasses. She's just so slow to every transition, and Marose is really solid when she is on top. I could, imagine how good Marose would be on top. Definitely in a gi, without a gi, in several areas. Maybe not in mixed martial arts, but I'm assuming in mixed martial arts. I do like Wood striking. She has a lot of volume and she pumps it out and, will touch you from a bunch of different ranges and angles. And she's very busy and accurate. But I really think there's just a huge grappling disadvantage for her here. And I feel like the price is accurate. Like, I wanted to bet Wood because I'm like, wow, look at this price. But, like, it's just impossible for me to get there.
Yep. Lou, you see this one any differently? Any love for the retiring Joanne Wood?
No, but even if she wasn't retiring, Wood's at it, and it's been like this for years. They're like, she is what she is at this point. She's not improving. Like, she's not all of a sudden going to be stuffing takedowns. Her striking's okay. Like, look, you just worry about Marose actually going for a takedown. I also don't like the slander against my girl Agapova. Like, I stand for this. Like, dude, I don't mind if she's the last girl I ever date and I die. It's fine.
Mug shotties.
I've had a good life. I've had a good run and it's great. But so you worry, I don't if you look at Marose's last two losses, the Pena fight, was it Pena or is it Maya? Maya. That's fine. I think Maya's criminally underrated and she's frustrating. As far as Korean Silva goes, Korean Silva is good at one element of MMA. I don't even know if she's still a fraud, but she seems to be very, very good on the ground. And Marose just kind of went into her world and got outmatched. Marose is not lights out on the ground. She's competent, and she looks overwhelming against people that are bad on the ground. Joanne Wood is bad on the ground. And also, as far as playing the sub prop, Joanne Wood, if she gets in any trouble in this fight, I do not see her trying to fight out of a choke for 3-4 minutes. I think you call it if she gets caught, she's been there before. Call it a career. She knows. If this thing stays on the feet, it's if it's competitive, it's different. But if she gets taken out in the first round, I think let's call it a career. So I like the Marose sub look. I see Lando saying the KO. I don't know, man. I just think that literally all she has to do is threaten a choke against Joanne Wood, and that's probably the end. So
the KO 2-3 angle though is kind of crazy if you think about it. If we're thinking about Wood quitting, because maybe somehow Marose gets to mount and throws some BS ground and pound strikes, and Wood just sits there please stop, I'm over this. Call it.
Or she quits on the stool.
Yeah,
that.
She's like, man, I'm over it.
Yeah. I would hope not that last one, but
I think if she even threatens a choke, it's probably the quick tap and let's just call it, and
yeah, for sure. I always like Joanne.
But money line wise, I have no interest. No. I think it's proper pass. It's not even dog or pass. It's proper pass.
Exactly. The lines, Dog said, the line's probably where it should be, but it's still too much.
If Marose has 8 to 10 minutes of control time here, she's already submitted her. Then she's submitted her.
For sure. Next fight, we've got Asu Almabayev. I didn't do it. Taking on CJ New Balance Vergara. -170 does not go the distance. +140 does go. -575 for Almabayev. +425 for Vergara. 95, 6,700. I like Asu here, of course, for DraftKings, but he's a little expensive. Actually, he's the most expensive fighter on the entire card. CJ Vergara he scored well against Daniel Lacerda. Allowed 106 against Tatsuro Taira, where he got subbed in the second. He allowed 69 nice against Ode Osborne. So I don't know how Almabayev is going to score. I think he can probably get it done, but I'll be looking to hear what you guys have to say. If you think Almabayev can finish, then I might, I would probably say to get more of him in your lineups. But as of now, I'm looking at other 9K guys because he is the most expensive fighter on the card. So that's tough to get to. Lou, what do you got here between Zulfikar and Mr. Vergara?
I'm going to be quick on this one because I'm pretty sure my guy, Dogfather, has more to say just from talking to him all week about this fight. Early in the week, I leaned Almabayev. I also made it very clear, I think betting anybody with ass in their first name is historically a minus EV proposition. I really wanted to, but I don't like betting. I've said this so many times. I don't like betting on people because the other guy sucks. It's just a horrible mentality to have. I don't think Vergara is good. And I think Vergara only usually wins when it's like he Homer Simpson's guys. They get exhausted and and his cardio is good and his volume is good late in fights. I really want him to like Almeida, but like the dude's not a rookie. He's been fighting for a long time. He kind of is what he is. He's not like a prospect. He's like a fucking dude. And he's kind of limited. He's kind of one-dimensional. I don't think his cardio is great late. I can't bet Vergara, but I ultimately decided I just don't want to get involved in this fight. But so for me, this is a total pass. Even his sub props are like even money, and it's like, fuck that, dude. Like who's Vergara getting sub by? Tyra? Alabay not Tyra. Like, dude, that's and Tyra even took like almost 2 rounds to get it done. So I'm just laying off. I'm gonna pick him for Brian Twitch just to have a pick. Just like I picked fucking Zahabi last week or whatever. But I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know how I did. Like, I just know that I'm hoping Brian's like paying attention. But I don't have a bet. I won't bet this, but I think that Dogfather has a stronger take because he believes one of these people is not great.
Yeah, I can see that, both with bad strength of schedules, and Vergara is kind of surprisingly even worse than Almeida, considering he has many more UFC fights, and one of his opponents was a very top-ranked Tatsuro Taira with a good record. So still a bad strength of schedule. Dogfather, what do you see here?
Yeah, I bet Vergara here. This line's kind of ridiculous. I don't understand how Almeida is like coming up to 85, 90, like almost 85% probably. Like outside of beating, and to me, it's just like a full-on WikiCap line. Like we have him minus 250 to Ode Osborne. He does very well against Ode Osborne, I will say, but Ode's shown grappling deficiencies in a lot of his fights. Like he can't get off his back. He gives up his back and really doesn't know how to grapple much at all. And then you go on Vergara's record and you see that he has a loss to Ode Osborne. So you go, oh, well, this is easy. Let me bet this. But if you go back and watch the Vergara and Osborne fight, like CJ is on him in round 3. And I'm pretty sure that was Vergara's UFC debut. And he did miss weight. He's never missed weight. And I'm pretty sure it was on short notice too. And he almost paced Ode in round 3. The issues that I do have with Vergara are that his takedown defense is pretty awful. And he does give up his back when he gets up. So personally, I think if you're going to play or considering on playing Almeida in DFS, I think it's actually a good bet or a good play, because he's going to have to land, in my opinion, more than one takedown. And if he doesn't, he's going to have a ton of control time because he's going to get to his back and get his hooks in and have a ton of control time. So, and if he has his back for an extended period of time, there's a likelihood that he can wrap up a rear naked choke here. So I do think there's an angle to play Almeida if you do like him on DFS. But from a betting angle, I do think this line is a little ridiculous. In my opinion, the only other guy that was really close to that was UFC level was Makovsky, who's a former, everybody knows Makovsky if you've been watching the UFC for a while. But at the time they fought, I'm pretty sure he was almost 40 years old. He was 39 years old at flyweight, and he's 2-3 in his last 5, like fighting on the regionals. And they went to split, and Almeida pretty much decided to give that fight away. So I don't really understand the line. I know he's good, and I know Vergara has a grappling deficiency, but if Vergara gets up a couple times and Almeida being incredibly limited on the feet and Vergara not being the worst grappler in the world, what the hell does this look like? This does not look like minus 575 at all. Yep. This looks like maybe a 55-45, 55% Almeida because he does have the grappling upside. But if CJ is getting up and not letting him get his hooks in, this is not the fight you want to have in your parlay.
Yeah, for sure.
Monk, can I ask you something? What's your projected ownership for Almeida? Because this is
the 9K range is actually really good. This week it's the opposite of last week. You've got Gamrat, Despa, O'Malley, Phillips, and Marose all in the 9K range. So I think he could be around like 20-ish%, honestly.
All right.
So something like that. I mean, Vergara's a tough out a lot of the time. So like Dogfather said, his cardio alone makes him kind of tough to deal with. Next fight, I should switch it on this screen. Robelis Despana taking on Josh Parisian. This is literally the only picture of this guy that like exists pretty much, unless it's the Olympic one. Minus 1,400 does not go the distance. Plus 7 does go. Minus 330 for Despana. Plus 270 Parisian. 93 and 6,900 for Parisian. This one's easy from a DraftKings perspective. You probably just play it. Despana, I mean, everyone knows 19 seconds in his past 3 fights, a bunch of knockouts, only 4 fights. You don't want the 60-second bonus is definitely in play here against Parisian, who's been finished twice over his last 3 losses. So you got to play Despana for that reason. He's not the most expensive fighter, so there is a little value there. And on the other side, what does this fight look like if somehow by an act of God, him or herself, this fight goes longer than 120 seconds? What does it look like? I think it's a shit show, and it could go either way. One guy could fall on the other, and the fight's freaking over. So you got to play some Parisian too. But beating Roque Martinez and Alan Badeau, guys, doesn't really do a lot for me.
He didn't win that Roque Martinez fight, by the way.
That's very true. The stats definitely do, and it wasn't close. Really. Yeah, I was waiting for that. Yeah, exactly. So he could be 1-4 in his past 5, only beating Alan Badeau. Yikes. Lou, what do you got here? I think this is a super low level banger heavyweight fight that you got to play.
Well, we have a friend who would say something about a defendant rising right now.
We do have that friend.
Shout out Tommy Touchy, our buddy. Just so you know, Dogfather, the joke is he's my real life friend. Like, he's one of my best friends. But Monk and him do like whatnot, like they sell cards. So now the joke when I go to the bar, he's like, you know Tommy's friend Monk? I'm like, yes, yes, I know who that is. And he's like, oh, that's Monk's friend Tommy. I'm like, I fucking hate you, asshole.
Right.
I mean, look, I've said time and time again, if I think a line is really wide and a favorite shouldn't be this number, then inherently the dog logically should be the play. Josh Parisian does not fit into this kind of logical thing. Look, man, I'm gonna give Dogfather not the glory, but like, him and I are on the same play here, and I'm going to let him explain why at the odds. But like, Despana round 1, it's not like unreasonable. It's essentially his money line. Like, unless if he hits like a fucking omoplata here, like fuck me. But
oh man,
I mean that's awesome. It's hilarious. But as a Taekwondo guy, like I would say it's probably not happening. I will leave it at this. A well-known conspiracy theorist in the community who shall remain nameless that has a Wednesday night show that I value as a friend spent like 15 minutes on this fight breaking down why he's betting Josh Parisian.
Oh, no.
And I won't mention his Foxian name, but I was like, dude, this fight doesn't deserve 15 minutes. Like to talk about, like this is I'm like, this is borderline unprofessional.
Yeah.
So
for sure,
I'm saying the Spain lands like 1 shot, and that's like he has 5 minutes to land 1 punch. Like, I don't know the Parisian's a big upgrade over like the fucking guys from the bar they got to fight him in his last couple of regionals. That's it. That's all I got here. And as far as DraftKings goes, just before we pass it off to Dogfather, I'm curious in like, I gotta feel like this guy is going to be almost like overowned because his win condition gets him like 120. But like, you can't fade him.
Right. Exactly.
And
it's like when it's like a Justin Hoffa fight.
And like with Parisian, if you want to do like some kind of punt play, his floor is literally 0 points.
Yeah, that's
like,
rough, especially because he's pay $100 more and put Cheeto Vera in your lineup.
So anyway, that's the play, but I'm done with analysis on this. I refuse to spend more time on this one.
Yeah, it's a interesting one. Blink and it could be over. Dogfather, what do you think? Anything different here?
Yeah, you just have to play either the under 1.5 because maybe like Despa slips on a banana peel like in Mario Kart or something and falls on his back, and Parisian mother's milks him from top position or something. Maybe some crazy shit like that happens. If you want to play the under, it's massive juice, but like, does it not hit at like 80%? It's minus 250, minus 280 maybe. Like, what are the chances this goes over? And if it goes over, who cares, right? It's like that should have been probably free money. But I'm just playing Robelas Despa round 1. It's minus 140, so like not even like 60%. So you're telling me the bronze medalist in Taekwondo who's 6'7" and with an 87-inch reach is not going to knock out Josh Parisian in round 1? or slightly favored to do it? I will gladly put my money towards that instead of an underdog bet on Josh Parisian. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And I've heard some crazy breakdowns of this, like Lou said. Shockingly, Despa was an underdog in his last fight in Fury FC.
No.
To Miles Banks. Miles Banks probably beats Josh Parisian, by the way. And I'm not lying. He's actually a pretty good fighter. He's undefeated in amateur and pro at the time. He's a good fighter. He knocked him out in 4 seconds. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all that needs to be said, because Miles Banks is probably better than Josh Parisian. He got knocked out in 4 seconds. I know that Josh Parisian's been in the UFC, et cetera, but the level of competition for these heavyweights is so low that does it really matter, right? It's like if Despa loses, I honestly wouldn't even feel bad because I, picked a round 1 prop for a bronze medalist in the Olympics to beat Josh Parisian in a fight. I'm okay with that.
This is underrated comment right here. Chris Webber's face when he calls that timeout, realize what's happening, is so good.
That was fixed actually. I got word on the street.
Yes, we're definitely having you back on the show.
Somebody threw a splinter in the octagon and it got in his foot, and they knew Mark Goddard would be the one to step in because it's always about Mark Goddard.
I mentioned that I had Parisian KO against Badeau, and this is one of those nights with my buddies where we were drinking the I can't remember the name of the alcohol. I'll look it up, but it's like the tall, thin yellow bottle. Like it tastes like fucking shit. Getting hammered, and as soon as I bet him, they're like, "You bet this?" Like he's walking out of the cage, and I'm like, "Fuck, what am I doing?" And this was on like my Bitcoin book, so like I bet 10x more than I wanted to because I got the fucking decimal wrong, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And then he won. It was like never in doubt. Like let's go.
Exactly.
Dude,
yeah, never in doubt.
With Damon Jackson against Bektic, where I'm like, it came out and I'm like, I thought this was not this guy.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. You were and you won anyways, didn't it?
I'm 2 for 2 on drunk Bitcoin missed decimal bets. I'm undefeated on those kind of bets. I can't win a real bet, but a drunk blind mistake bet for 10. That's what I wanted.
Oops, all bets. Yeah, exactly.
I go
send me. Yeah, can you send me when you do that, please?
Yeah.
I'll be like, fuck. If all I write in the group chat is fuck, that's what I did. Like, no.
You know what makes? God. Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The trick for Ian Cutelaba is he's always angry. Felipe Lins, his opponent, minus 120. There's no distance props yet for this one. I don't know what the hell's going on this week with this fight. It's been booked forever. I don't understand. Minus 120 for Cutelaba, plus 100 for Lins, 84 and 78. Again, another
It's minus 550. Fight doesn't go.
Is it? Okay. I was going to guess like minus 500, but I didn't want to be like super wrong. Yeah, Kutalaba's like a must play DraftKings every time. Every time he wins, he scores an outrageous amount of points. I think when he wins by knockout over his career, it's like 116 points or something like that. And let's not forget that Felipe Lins got KO'd by Tanner freaking Bozer. So yeah, he is on a 3-fight win streak, but those 3 are Praknio, Oven St. Preux, and Maxim Grishin. So I like Kutalaba here. If he doesn't get it done early, I'm going to be sweating, but someone should be finishing this fight here. Dogfather, what do you think?
This is probably the biggest pass fight that I can imagine from a betting perspective, unless you're playing the under, because you have a chinny dude in Lins against Ion Kutalaba, and then you have Ion Kutalaba against any human being walking on this planet.
Against himself?
Against himself, yes. Ion Kutalaba and thus battle with himself to not get finished in under 1.5. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like if you want to bet this fight, you just bet the under. Like it's minus 140. It's like that's probably Kutalaba's money line, most likely, and you also have Lynn's finish equity too. So it's like, if this under is minus 140, I kind of want to play it because this is one of those unders where it's like, it's minus 140, but this shit could look like minus, 500 in 2.5 minutes. And everybody's like, why the hell didn't I bet this? Kutalaba is an idiot. And he's just going to swing massive hooks until somebody dies. And Lynn's doesn't have a great chin, but he does hit pretty hard. And he, his boxing's not bad. The only issue is like if there's some cage push involved by Lynn's and he decides to just, make this really boring, which would suck. But like, I don't know, the likelihood of that happening is probably, solely based on what he chooses to do, because Kutalaba is probably going to try to go out there and kill him. So,
yeah, undoubtedly. Lou, do you see this one any different? Should we be betting Felipe Lins?
No. I mean, but also, no, don't look, man. What do they say? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
All I want to do is be like, Kutiyaba round 1, and it's like, it's all I want to do when I look at this, and I'm like, don't fucking do it. And like, watch, I'm gonna win like a bunch of soccer Saturday morning and be like, I'm fucking doing it. And then I'm going to hate myself. Like, I'm going to hate myself that I did it. Like, look, man, I am a known Lynn's hater for getting me to my round 2 KO bet against Praknio when the ref said, if you hit him one more time, it's over. And he's like, cool, I'm going to not hit him ever. It's like, I'm going to back away and give him like 38 feet of fucking distance. Like, and now like we're in like the no steroid testing era. So maybe Lynn's like, maybe it goes back to like that form of PFL. I don't know. I'm with Dogfather to an extent. I think the under 1.5, and it's not even unreasonable, man. It's like, dude, minus 140, I feel is completely reasonable. You have 100% of Kutiaba's win equity, and you have. I will say the Lynn submission is sort of weirdly interesting. Because Kutiyaba, when he gets tired, he's diving in like you remember, like an Irish whip in wrestling, how it's like the most telegraphed move in pro wrestling. Kutiyaba's takedowns are really close to that. It's like he has a sign. It's like, here's my fucking head.
He got submitted by Johnny Walker, like
right. And Lynn's is like, I mean, Lynn's knows submissions. Like he's aware of like how to do them. And I think if he does get a sub, it comes late round 1 or like probably really early round 2. So I think the under at minus 140 is like kind of reasonable here. Yeah, fucking Kutiyaba, man.
I know. Guy. I like it's once again into the darkness with Ion Kutalaba.
Like, man, I'm like, I know, and I so want to bet him. I so want to bet him in the distance. Like I know I'm gonna end up betting him. I just make a promise to everyone in the Discord. I'm gonna I'm just gonna be like, I fucking bet this asshole. like Like Big Steve may actually toss me from the Discord for betting him.
He might have worse
and I
fight
wouldn't
IQ than Kevin Holland.
It's a bannable. I feel like it's a bannable offense. Dutch first half over is just, I will give you literally everything on my fucking bet sheet for tomorrow at the end of the show. All my fucking nonsense. It's not just Dutch overs. I have a Bundesliga 2 play that I really like between Fortuna Dusseldorf.
I got a Dutch over once. It actually wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be.
You're thinking of a Dutch oven.
Oh, okay. Here we go. The battle of the Michaels. Look, if you type in Demolidor into Google, do you know what comes up? Fucking Daredevil. Do you know this? That's why he has the Daredevil mask.
I thought it was like a Demolition Man or something.
That's what I thought too. But if you just type in his nickname, just that alone, it's Daredevil. Every single thing is Daredevil.
That sucks. That's a terrible nickname.
It is, but it's cool for me because then I got to use the mask, so that was fucking awesome. And then, of course, Olekseiejczuk. I mean, his nickname is like a 16th century Polish cavalryman, so that fucking helmet is badass. Either way, minus 180 doesn't go. Plus 150, minus 143 for Pereira, plus 123 for Olekseiejczuk. Yeah, I think this is another must-play fight, even though Pereira, outside of last fight where he deaded Petrosky in like a minute, he doesn't score very well when he wins. He's much more mellowed out, as everyone knows. But when Olekseiejczuk fights, he either knocks you out in the first round and scores a ton of points, or he gets out of the first round and then loses the fight by finish, like probably by sub most of the time, at least at middleweight. Hopefully Pereira watched the Caio Bahaio fight and learned a little something there. But if Olekseiejczuk doesn't get Pereira done in the first round, I think this is going to be probably a finish. So either guy can finish, which means I love this fight for DraftKings. Lou, what do you got here?
Okay, I'm gonna approach this a little differently because I'm really excited about this fight in a weird way, and I'm gonna root for Pereira because Olekseiejczuk beat my boy Mr. Brundage.
That's true.
After Cody somehow got fucking reversed on the ground by him, which is like, and he wants to wrestle Bo Nickel. Like, what are you doing, dude? Please don't wrestle Bo Nickel, dude. Please don't put me in this. Don't put me in a spot like this. Here's what I'm very surprised about: the totals for this fight. Because Pereira, I know he's been known to gas. I was at 170, but he's pretty durable and he knows how to like kind of fight through his bad cardio. And Olekseiejczuk's pretty tough against guys that are primarily strikers. Dude, these under, it's so favored to the under that, like, I don't get it. Like, I would have thought Fight Goes would have been, like, kind of close to even money, and it's like, I have it up. It's minus 205 for Fight Goes. Or Fight Doesn't Go, which, on my one book, like, I don't know. I think that's crazy. So, like, and maybe, I haven't put this in yet, but Fight to start round 3 is minus 108 on my book. And I just I kind of feel like if this fight doesn't end in the first, it probably goes a distance at a pretty high clip. Because I don't really trust either guy's cardio in the third. But if you look at their stats, historically, neither guy has a ton of volume past round 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get these juiced. And like anybody saying, Pereira has a grappling advantage. When has Pereira ever been like, I'm just going to spam takedowns? Like, he doesn't. It's not how he likes to fight. It's not how he wants to fight. He could threaten one, but he's not going for like 5 takedown attempts in this fight. And what's he going to do when he gets one? He's not like some slick submission ace on the ground. I'm not saying he's not talented on the ground, but he's not like immediately taken aback and like he's not. So I kind of favor this thing going a lot longer than the odds suggest. Like, I'll pick Pereira because I think he might have the bigger moments in a race. I think his fight's close. I think the line close enough. And I don't hate anybody betting Olekseiejczuk. I just because he'll have moments too, but I think Pereira can have like just the flashier, bigger moments that steal around. But I really like the overs more than anything else here.
All right, Dogfather, what do you got for this one?
I bet Olekseiejczuk here at plus 135. I just don't think Pereira has much off the back foot. And Olekseiejczuk, I know some people think he's he sucks, but I actually think his boxing's pretty underrated. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. I actually think his boxing's pretty underrated, and it looks improved. A lot of folks think, Mikhail's been in the UFC for a long time, but the dude's only 29. He's actually the younger guy here, and he was fighting up at 205 for a while against much bigger dudes, and I think that's going to help him out here because Michel, the Daredevil, is a huge guy. So I know a lot of folks, they're going to, talk about the size disparity because Michel is so huge, but Michal, the Polish guy, has been fighting 205ers, most of his career. So I don't think the size disparity is a big deal, but to me, I think, Michal is the more efficient striker. Michel is, a big actions guy for the most part, and he needs you to be on the back foot. And I just don't think Mikhail's going to give him that space to do that. He does kind of break down a little bit in round 2 and round 3 and slow down, but because of the way he fights and the pace, he also tires his opponent out. So I like Lou's bet that this does go to round 3, because if we get out of round 1, this might go the distance. And if they're giving you even money for it to go 3, the likelihood that it gets there is very high. So I like the bet, but I do like Mikhail to kind of break him down and slow Michel down with the body shots and the body work. And he is definitely live to finish in round 1, and I think he's very, very durable. He finds a way to get himself hurt in every single fight and just doesn't die. Like, I don't know how he ate a head kick from Chidi and Njokuani and 75 knees to his body and just didn't die. Like, rewatching that, I was like, how is this man walking right now? I would have died, I would have quit, like, after the first 2 knees to the body.
I'm starting to think refs hate Chidi because they just let him commit homicides and never call the fight over.
Yeah.
And then he loses.
Please stop it. I'm almost dead.
Dude, he split a motherfucker's head open. Like,
dude, you can see his brain.
Like, we literally saw the dude's brain, and they're like, he's fine. And then he lost.
They were like, yeah, one more punch to this artery and he's dead. And they said, no, we'll keep it going.
You could literally
I'm
see
not like
what
the street
Gregory
champ
was
or anything. I'm not like the street fight champ of all time or anything. But typically when you see a motherfucker's brain, you stop. Like, even if you hate the dude on the street, you're like, okay, he's done.
That's enough.
I see his fucking cerebral cortex. Like, we're done.
Exactly. That was scary. Next fight. Here we go. Kyler the Matrix Phillips taking on Pedro Munoz. Plus 200. Fight doesn't go. Minus 260. Fight does go. Minus 204 for Neo. Plus 174 for Munoz. 91 and 71 here. I actually like to probably fade this one a bit. In fact, if I'm going to be playing any side of this for DraftKings, it's going to be the underdog for the most part here. Phillips just doesn't score well. I mean, he put up 97 against Cameron Else. Other than that, it's like 73, 76, just not very good scores here. And Pedro Munoz doesn't get finished, and he doesn't allow any points when he loses. So, in fact, what was the number? Sorry, I'm trying to find it. He allows only 81 points per loss, and Phillips scores only 87 per loss. So, on the flip side, Phillips, when he loses, only allows 70. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking this one goes to decision. If I do want to play a side, I'm going to play the huge underdog at 7,100 and save a little bit of money there. But I'm thinking a little bit of a fade for what should be a complete striking fight, leg kicks and stand-up fight here. I'm not expecting much grappling. So, Dogfather, how do you see this one between Phillips and Munoz?
I have a lot of bets on this card. I also bet, Munoz at plus 220. This is a close fight, and it's going to be a close fight because that's just how, Munoz keeps it. He feints a lot, lots of leg kicks, keeps his range, kind of pops in and out. He makes fights close, and they're giving me plus 220 on a guy in Phillips who is probably not going to have the opportunity to use his offensive grappling here against a dude who's a great anti-grappler in Munoz. And if he does, he's probably going to get himself in trouble. So we see a 15-minute stand-up fight, most likely, with 2 really durable guys, and Munoz, who's had a higher level of competition and knows how to make fights close. So pretty easy bet there at plus 220. I line Phillips a slight favorite, probably minus 150, minus 175 range. So at 220, there was enough for me to bet on him. And yeah, pretty simple for me. I mean, I know folks talk about the Phillips cardio dynamic, but Munoz drops round 3 a lot too. He doesn't have like the greatest cardio in the world either. But I do think he has I think he has a ton of leg kick upside here with how Phillips circles. So he can circle him into leg kicks on both sides because Munoz does a good job at cutting angles. And I know, Gutierrez isn't the best example because he's not super durable, but that game plan where, Gutierrez is circling and circling, Phillips kind of employs like a similar game plan where he does circle and counter from the outside and pick at you. And Gutierrez has the same game plan. So I think he can implement that here.
I love it. I love it there. Yeah, this one's way too wide. Also, I agree. Lou, you see this one differently?
No, but I have a little different bet on it, and I was talking to Wheezy about
Munoz by guillotine.
No, I am and these are not like bets I do very often, but the Munoz finish only prop is plus 165, and it's probably going to be a push. 98% of the time, this bet's going to push, and I get it. But I don't think what's Phillips' finish equity? 2%,
right? Against Munoz, especially.
And Munoz, he's not like a massive finisher either, but what's Munoz going to try to do? He's going to try to chop the legs. He's going to try to limit the movement of Phillips. We've seen Phillips fade, not quit, he fights through it, but we've seen him go low volume. He gets sloppy. If Munoz is down 2-0 and knows he has to kind of just make this ugly in a dogfight, I trust his cardio. I trust his willingness to just absolutely throw heat in the pocket and go after Phillips, who just kind of runs away from guys in the third. So look, again, this bet probably pushes 90% of the time. I just don't see Phillips having really any finishing equity here. And Munoz, leg kick TKO is not the craziest thing ever, but dude, plus 165 for finish only. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
By the way, it's 110 on Bet Online. It's 165 on DraftKings. It's a massive disparity.
No kidding.
Right. So, I wouldn't bet it at plus 110. I'll bet basically his money line for a finish only prop.
Right.
And you got a good price, dog. I mean, you got plus 220. You did your job, dude. It doesn't matter anymore. You did your fucking job.
I can't wait to cash this CLV. Holy shit.
Phillips minus 300 or whatever he was at the time in this economy. It's terrible.
It's never Kyler Phillips at minus 300.
I don't know. The media is already asking him in the media day about, if he keeps winning, what's it going to be like to fight his teammate, Sean O'Malley? It's Jesus, guys.
Relax. Let him be the top 15 guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then they asked a follow-up to that on the same topic. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Is this Kyler Phillips we're talking about?
It's
he's got to beat. Yeah, he's got to beat. He's got to beat somebody in top.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to beat somebody. And Pedro Munoz would beat somebody.
It's weird they would do it on Rusev Day. Of all days.
I know the nerve. These people, they don't, and I said it again. There you go, guys. Check it off your bingo card. I said these people on Happy Hour. So there we go.
Who are these people?
Next fight, Mateusz Gamrat taking on one of my all-time faves, RDA, Rafael dos Anjos, one of the best mustaches in the game. Plus 215, minus 275 goes the distance. Minus 455, geesh, for Mateusz Gamrat, plus 355 for RDA, 94-68. So that makes Gamrat the second most expensive fighter on the card. And unfortunately for me, because I am an RDA fanboy, I do like Gamrat for cash here. I think he gets it done. I think he has a decent score. I think he can take down Dos Anjos. I know this one is back down at lightweight. Dos Anjos kind of been fluctuating a bit throughout his career, especially as of late, fighting his last two at welterweight. But it is good to see him back down at lightweight. That said, Gamrat, I mean, this is the dude that beat Sarukian, beat Turner, beat Fiziev. I know that was a knee injury in that Fiziev fight, but he was looking decent up until then, even striking, and he had 20% control time on that, plus a takedown. So still close fight, but he was holding his own, obviously, against Fiziev. I just think Gamrat is RDA's 39 years old, man. And like I said, I love the guy. He's fought the best of the best, former champ. But man, I'd be picking with my heart if I picked RDA, and I'm gonna pick with my head here. I like Gamrat for cash games specifically in DraftKings this week, and I just don't see it from RDA. I don't even know if you can play him as a GPP punt. It sucks to say, but man, I'll be rooting for him for sure. But I like Gamrat as well. So yeah, that's my pick. Dogfather, what do you got for this one?
I mean, if this was like 5 years ago,
banger.
And you know, I'm betting RDA
at lightweight. Oh yeah.
But like, do we really know how washed RDA is at 55? Like, I guess he's probably washed, right? He's 39. He's been in the game for a while. To me, this is just a great live bet spot for RDA, because if somehow he doesn't look completely washed in round one, you'll probably get a decent number. Obviously, Gamrat's pace might get to him late, and that could be a problem. But let's say Gamrat somehow loses round one, right? There's an angle to play Gamrat, maybe near slight favorite. So I don't want to touch this fight like from a betting perspective, because Gamrat's this line's kind of crazy, but I get it. And RDA could be washed. So it's like I don't want to do anything with it. But I do think there's an angle to bet this live. So that's kind of my perspective on the fight. The overs are juiced. Yeah, play Gamrat decision. It's minus 150.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably hits.
Yeah.
Like it probably hits. It's minus 150, but it probably hits. It's like Despagne round one almost, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say for this one. Like, I feel like this fight's really straightforward, you know?
Yeah, I'll be watching it like this, depending on how round one goes, watching it through my fingers. Because Gamrat doesn't seem to be like the best in any realm, but he's so well-rounded everywhere. It's just, sometimes it's just too much. Oh, it's proven for many people, 23 to be exact, too much to overcome. So
his wrestling's so good. He probably
it really is.
He's probably the best pure like just straight up pure wrestler.
Yeah.
His control sucks and he doesn't get off a lot of damage, but just from a pure wrestling standpoint, you know, he's probably one of the best wrestlers in division, but the line is crazy based on his margins, in my opinion.
And that's good for us DraftKings boys. We like rinse and repeat takedowns. You know, just keep getting up, keep taking them back down. So
I mean, if Luke did it, I'm Gamrat definitely can.
There, exactly. Lou, what do you got?
Yeah, I think it's a
give me all you got.
Fight. I'm just gonna root for RDA, and like I don't have anything to add to this. Like I just like. I mean, dude, I respect RDA. He's great to watch. Legend. Like, so I don't even want to. I'm not gonna talk about a betting perspective. What I want to ask you though, I want to throw this right back to you, Monk. Dogfather brought up like the most important point here from a DFS perspective. Gamrat's control is terrible. He could land 12 takedowns in this fight with like 1 minute, 13 seconds of control time. Like it's not inconceivable. Like, dude, it's not inconceivable that like he just lands one and gets up. And it's not like Luque, where Luque, while not the greatest takedown guy, is just kind of like a physical monster. Like he's an imposing physical beast. Gamrat's kind of like, I'm not criticizing Gamrat's like being in shape. I'm saying Luque just looks like he's a fucking beast, and Gamrat's just like a dude. So like Luque can almost hold you down by sheer will and not technique. Gamrat, it's like pure technique. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Pure technique, and hopefully RDA King. I mean, like you said, 12 takedowns. I mean, whoever we just saw just did that a couple of fight cards ago and scored like 120, 130 points. So. Yeah, and plus,
I'd like it to give a cautionary tale here, by the way.
Oh,
we just talked about the fight last week with Zahabi and Basharat, and my breakdown of that fight was very simple from a betting perspective. When you have a guy in a fight that's going to totally go the distance at a high clip, what do you need? All you need is one judge or one bad round, and all that juice parlay is gone.
Yep.
I'm not saying bet RDA, but don't, even if Gamrat is just going to get rinse and repeat takedowns here and do no damage, Dos Anjos could steal rounds with 20 seconds of good time. Like, I'm just saying, don't parlay Gamrat here. Like, if you want to play a prop, if you want to live bet it and look for an angle that way, like, I think that's great. But, like, it's people just aren't going to learn. They're going to, like, just throw them in parlays, and it's like you're going to get so little added to your parlay.
Right.
In a fight that's going to go to the judges. I mean, I don't care what they imply this at. This is going to the judges, like, 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why? Agree. Dude, I mean, what if this is 1-1 going in the third? How do you feel with that minus 450 fucking ticket? You're an asshole. Like if you knew Gamrat was going to get 8 minutes of control time in the first 2 rounds, that's fine. But you don't know that.
That's true.
So I don't know.
It'd be nice though for our DraftKings play. It would be nice
for you.
Yeah, well, like it would be nice for my DraftKings play, but it's not going to be nice for me personally. Like I said, I'm a huge RDA guy, gigantic fan of his. Next fight, huge. Macy Barber taking on Caitlin Sermonara. Plus 240 doesn't go. Minus 300 does go. Minus 205 for Barber. Plus 175 for Caitlin, 8,800, 7,400. This is probably a big fade on DraftKings. If anything, I do like Barber, but is she going to get a finish over Chookagian? I don't really think that's likely. Or Sermonara, sorry. Caitlin, I think, holds the record in the UFC for most wins without a finish. I believe it's like 11 or 12, maybe more at this point. Something ridiculous like that. She averages less than 70 points when she wins, so I'm not wanting to roster her at all. And Macy Barber, I mean, like I said, Sermonara doesn't really get finished. I don't really see a finish coming, but if it does, she's still too expensive at 8,800, so I won't have a ton of her. But I could see a path to where she could potentially score okay. Lou, how do you see this one in the featherweight or flyweight division?
I mean, I'm totally biased here.
You're a big, of course.
Toward the pride of Quakertown, Pennsylvania, Miss Chookagian, who I can't stress enough, looks like the median of every woman I have seen in Quakertown, Pennsylvania at the Q Mart in my life. The Q Mart, by the way, is like an indoor mall with shops, but also there's like animals. It's like a really weird fucking thing. Like, let me go buy a video game and pet that donkey. Like, it's a tremendous fucking piece of Americana.
Right.
So I gave away on the prop show, like, I parlayed the split here with the split in the Jan fight. Look, I'm pretty sure Dogfather and I are on opposite sides of this one. I feel like this line is very wide for a fight where, what does Chookagian do well? She fake throws strikes. I looked at her UFC stats. If you didn't know better, you'd be like, oh my God, she's like the most fucking prolific striker in UFC history. It's like 130 significant strikes. Bullshit. No, dude. And remember, this is going to be in a live arena at a pay-per-view. So the high odds are not necessarily going to work here. But that being said, look at Barber's strike numbers, man. She's not high volume. She tries to rely on just like being out physical. And like, I just don't know how she has huge success. I'm going to assume that there's not really any grappling in this fight. I don't think Barber's going to go for, maybe she shoots one takedown, but for the most part, I think it's going to be on the feet. And like with Chookagian, man, again, I can't stress enough that I'm biased. Like, just full disclaimer. Hold on. That's why we have this. So let me just throw that up there. Just, that's why we have it. But like, other than the Andrade fight and Shevchenko, Chookagian like never gets hurt. She never gets hit clean. Dude, I mean, to me, I think Fiorot is just a cleaner, better striker than Barber. And she never really landed anything like super, super clean on the button against, like, she, it was a close fight, a fair 29-28, but man, like, Chookagian was competitive. And I feel like this is kind of a step down. I just think this should be a tighter line. Chookagian split decision. I mean, it's Chookagian, like, system play is the split.
Yep.
It's plus 800 for her to win by split. Her decision prop is plus 260. I don't know why it's 80 cents difference in her money line. Like, Chookagian's not knocking her out.
No,
it's not finishing her here. It's crazy. This should be like an Ngannou thing where the money line and the KO are like 5 cents apart.
right?
I don't know why the money line and decision are like 80 cents apart. It's crazy. So I like Chookagian decision here. And it's, you know what? There's a karma thing where like it's about goddamn time that Barber lost a bullshit decision. So
that's true.
Yeah, I'm going with home girl here.
There we go. Dogfather, what do you got?
I wanted to bet Chookagian because I felt like the line was wide. But then there's just I just don't like her fighting style. I mean, she huts more than Peyton Manning. Like all I hear is hut when she fights. Like I don't know if they're calling it audible or what the fuck's going on. But yeah, her striking is pretty clean. I mean, she keeps it long, which I think is going to be a big factor for her here. But with how scoring has been going recently, if they clinch up, she's going to get beat up in the clinch by Barber. I mean, Barber fights like there's a sale at the Mac in the mall on Black Friday and someone just cut in front of her. Like, that's how I describe Maycee Barber's fighting style. And, like, there's just a big discrepancy in that. And physicality and just meanness play a big factor in MMA, especially WMMA, that I don't think, Chookagian Seminara brings to the fight that Barber does. And I know a lot of people say that, Barber's an awful grappler, but he must took her down a couple times, and she showed improved urgency for herself to get back up to the feet, which she didn't against Lee. And if you think that Chookagian is a better grappler than Amanda Ribas, I'm going to stop you right there and tell you you're probably wrong. Because I would completely disagree. They're probably on equal playing fields. So I feel like Barber is making some improvements that like folks just, I guess, aren't looking at because they hate Maycee Barber because they've lost money on her, trying to fade her in the past. But I think, in my opinion, I think the line is a little wide, but I just can't see. I just see it as being a plus EV loser in Chookagian here.
Yeah, definitely. I can easily see. Yeah, this one's a little. It's interesting, and it's not. I'm just glad I'm a DraftKings guy because I can.
Well, it's like and you know what? Like I know folks think the line is wide, but like finishing equity matters. Oh
yeah.
So it's like Chookagian has 0 finishing equity.
Negative, yeah,
0. And with
if you gave her 38 rounds, she wouldn't finish this fight.
No. And like with how judges score damage, like honestly, as long as Barber is getting in her face, like she's going to be landing more damage and she has more finishing upside. So like, yeah, sure. I think the line is wide, but I don't think it's as wide as people think it is. Like I think Barber minus
really good at not eating damage. She's really good at like kind of just not looking like she gets. That's the thing is like,
not if they clinch. Like not if they clinch up.
Barber could land more than Chookagian, but the judges will have it that Chookagian landed 30 more strikes in the round. Like, do you know what I mean?
True.
It's like,
yeah, she'll have 50 more significant strikes.
Exactly. That's why when I
the
do
numbers
like
just don't match up.
Did you guys see the Twitter? Like this. Did you guys see the Twitter thing where Chookagian?
Obviously, I didn't.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're in jail. But Chookagian did like a head fake and then threw a leg kick at Araujo like she was, faking her out with like a basketball or something. It was hilarious. I'm like, it was one of those moments where you're like, this is the last person that should be doing a head fake in MMA.
Right. Yeah. You somehow telegraphed a fucking head fake. Ridiculous.
She probably said hut while she did the head fake.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Well, at least after that one, we get this one. Huge fight in the heavyweight division between Curtis Razor Blaydes and Jailton Almeida. Minus 240 doesn't go. Plus 190 does go. Line is flipped here. Minus 107 for the former favorite Curtis Blaydes. Plus minus 113 for Almeida. 82 and 8,000. So a little bit of implied value there on the DraftKings side for Almeida. Look, I love Jailton Almeida, and I'm going to be backing him here in this fight. I like Curtis Blaydes, too. Both guys score phenomenally well in DraftKings, like really, really, really well. Better than most everyone else on this card that's not named Benoit Saint-Denis. So, I mean, and both of them have a ton of points per win, 111 for Blaydes, 119 for Almeida. When Blaydes does lose, though, he's given up 103.8 on average. And the bottom line for me is, who's more athletic than Jailton Almeida that Curtis Blaydes has fought? I mean, you could maybe throw Aspinall up there, but I think Almeida is probably a little more, raw athleticism than Tom Aspinall. But everyone else, I mean, Blaydes is not used to what Almeida is going to be able to show here. And obviously the huge wrestling background. If Almeida starts to be able to take him down, I just think it's going to snowball. And I love Almeida here for the DraftKings upside. That said, I will have some of Curtis Blaydes too for that very same DraftKings upside. But my pick is going to be Jailton Almeida. And I'm just really excited to see how high this guy can go in the heavyweight division. Pretty much whatever division he wants, really, to be honest. Lou, start us off here. What do you got?
Oh, I went back and forth this one all week, man. So for those of you guys that did not watch Props to Consider and MMA Bet today, shame on you. Go watch it. I feel like the Almeida sub 1, sub 2 at plus 490 on FanDuel is like, I don't think Almeida is drawing dead to a submission here. But like, if this thing gets out of the second, it means it stayed on the feet, Blaydes stuff takedowns, and he's going to win like a fucking boring ass decision. At least that's what I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll bring up some quick points about this. Like, I've seen people talking about like Almeida's 30 pounds lighter than Blaydes and shit like this. And it's like, dude, Micah Parsons is like 50 pounds lighter than like every in the NFL, and he just fucking chucks dudes. Like, I think that's kind of like a myth, and it's never a thing. Like, Almeida is just a really good athlete. He's a physical presence. He's a fucking monster. We have a lot of questions about Blaydes' takedown defense. We have a lot of questions about his get-up game. The one thing I don't question here, and the dudes that have knocked Blaydes out are like Drago, Pavlovich, and like fucking, I get it. But the one thing I think with Blaydes is at this point in his career is like, I don't like his body language when things aren't going his way. And I feel like if Almeida gets, and I know Almeida's going to shoot takedowns in the first round. If Almeida gets him down and Blaydes can't like immediately pop back up, like I wonder what kind of thing we see for him. I get the argument both sides here. I swear to God I do, because this thing stays on the feet. If Blaydes is stuffing takedowns and it's a striking match, I favor Blaydes like immensely here. But I just think, again, for the price of the round 1, round 2 sub for Almeida being like $490 on FanDuel, I just kind of think that's a wild price for like, I mean, this dude threw 4 strikes against Rosenstrike when he took him down. Like, I've seen people playing the KO. Well, you got to throw strikes to get a KO. He doesn't throw ground strikes. So I don't know how I get a KO. Unless he like bounces his head like a basketball.
Right.
Even against fucking your favorite fighter of all time, Monk, even against the Pleasure Man, he threw a couple of strikes, but he's throwing 1 or 2 strikes to get the guy to move his head and then go for a choke. So like he's never using his strikes to get a finish. He's using his strikes to set up the choke. So I mean, the KO's wide, but I get it. And it's not like he has massive punching. He's powerful, but not like striking powerful. So I'm playing Almeida round 1, round 2 sub. I don't, anybody on the Blaydes side, like, I don't hate it. I understand it. But I can't resist a 5-1 prop for what I think is a lot of his win equity here.
Yeah, one last thing I'll say before I pass it along to Dogfather. We've had the last 5 fights for Almeida. He's cost in DraftKings 94, 95, 97, 96, and 96, and now we get him at 8K. Fantastic. What do you got here, Dogfather?
I have a lot of friends on the Blaydes side, and I get it. He's more proven, higher level of competition. Almeida does have holes in his game that Blaydes going to exploit, especially the striking. And, I guess the untested grappling cardio and the ability to handle adversity. But does Curtis Blaydes really handle adversity that well? I would disagree. So I guess in that aspect, I would say this fight is probably closer to a pick'em. And I think the line is accurate, but the more I looked into it, the more I realize that Almeida's probably just going to turn this into a jiu-jitsu match. Because the way he fights is he doesn't really want to strike at all. He's just going to stay way out of range and just like throw front kicks and then try to get on Blaydes' hips super deep. And if he can't get there, he's probably just going to push him up to the cage. So sure, he might gas, but if that doesn't happen and he does have good cardio, which Blaydes doesn't necessarily have, insane cardio. They're both heavyweights. If Blaydes is tired and Almeida is tired, I favor Almeida in a sloppy, tired grappling match just because his jiu-jitsu is a lot better. Yeah. And he's shown the ability to kind of scramble and work out of positions where there's absolutely zero on tape that tells you if Blaydes gets flat on his back and he's a little bit tired, that he can get up. It happened in the East fight, and it happened in the Volkov fight, where I know it's at the end of the round. It doesn't matter. To me, it matters because he's tired. He hasn't heard the clapper in some of those scenarios yet because those are in like exchanges, and he just falls on his back and goes right into close guard, where there is no urgency to get up. And if Almeida gets him flat, he's a much better control grappler than I think folks are giving him credit for here. And he's probably going to be able to consolidate position and pass to dominant position, either in half guard or pass right into mount. Has there been a heavyweight as big and athletic as Almeida on top, passing through somebody's guard at heavyweight? I haven't seen it. If you tell me somebody like this and I get the opportunity to bet on him at Pick'em, I'm probably going to take that opportunity because it's not like I'm not playing minus 200 here. I'm not playing minus 250. I'm playing Pick'em on a guy with questions on both sides, right? Who I think has just as much upside as the other guy, but who I feel like can employ his game plan. I don't feel like Blaydes will be able to employ the same game plan that I know and I believe I can trust Almeida to do that. So in my opinion, the line is accurate at Pick'em, but I feel like you almost, for me personally, I feel like Almeida's a side at Pick'em because I can trust him to implement a game plan, which involves him going to the grappling and taking Blaydes down. And until I see somebody stuff a Jailton Almeida takedown, I will believe that he can take this guy down, period. And if I lose on a Pick'em fight because I'm wrong there, that's fine, right? But I think based on, what I'm seeing on tape and kind of how I feel about the fight, I feel like Almeida's got to be the side here, and I understand why people are backing Blaydes, but I got to pick and lean Almeida to win.
Love it.
Can I ask both of you a question before we move on? We're going to talk about the Yadong fight soon, where I think the margins are thin. It's a line like this. Do you guys feel like whoever wins this fight is going to end up looking like minus 800 in hindsight?
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't think the winner of the Yadong-Yan fight does. I think the winner of this fight ends up looking like an absurd fucking...
Completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, and it'll be one of those things where, folks are big on one side and they say, I'm the best to ever do it. Look at my bet that cashed. It's like, and then they'll lose their next one and then forget about it. So,
yeah, exactly. We'll either be hearing, "Oh, I told you Jailton was a fraud," or it'll be, "I told you Curtis was fucking washed and can't wrestle." It's just gonna be like, dude, nobody.
It'll be. Why did you bet on Curtis Blaydes?
Yeah, exactly. Just
I'm not if that happens, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say if Blaydes loses and knocks Jailton out, I'll be like, yeah, no shit. You know what I mean? I knew the guy couldn't strike like that. That's fine. I took.
But we learned something. We learned something very valuable for a Pick'em price.
Yeah, it's like, well, Jailton's been knocked out on the regionals. It's a long time ago. Surely he's improved by then, but it's on tape, right? It's happened.
Yep.
I don't think Blaydes has ever been submitted, and he's the bigger guy. So I get once again, I get it. I don't think, but I don't know how either I don't know how either side can be massively confident That's just my opinion on this fight. Like if you're overly confident in this fight, I feel like you should probably retape and think about it again.
There we go. Love it. Plus, it's always fun to retape Jelt and Almeida fights. Next one. Peter Yan taking on Song Yadong. Plus 190 doesn't go. Minus 230 goes all three. Very slight favorite here. Peter Yan minus 120 to plus 100 for Song. 83, 70, 900. This is another one where I'm really looking forward to watching this fight. But for DraftKings, I'm not looking forward to rostering it. Song Yadong has shown flashes of scoring very well, with some KO victories over like Ricky Simone, Marlon Moraes. He even put up 107 against Chris Gutierrez, but that was a 5-round fight. Landed 2 takedowns, surprisingly, in that one as well. I guess maybe not surprisingly, but I'm thinking there's not going to be a ton of grappling here. I honestly don't know who to pick. I think the line is probably right on. I barely think I favor Peter Yan, but that said, he's 1-4 in his last 5. And man, if he loses this fight by like split decision or something, he might be another retiring fighter on this card. He might just say, fuck this, I am done with this one. So it'll be interesting to see where Peter's head is going to be at coming in here. And Song looks more confident than ever, looks better and better every single fight. So man, I don't know. Maybe I just talked myself into picking Song. This will be literally a coin flip pick for me. I'd like to see Song Yadong beat Peter Yan. I'm not Peter Yan's biggest fan. So yeah, there we go. I guess I'll pick Song Yadong, but I think it's a 50-50 fight. Let's see here. Dogfather, how do you see this one?
I agree with you. I think the line's pretty accurate. I betting Yan, you know, you're betting on him because he's the better technical striker. And he's still probably one of the top guys in the division, but something about, you know, Yan at this point, it's like he kind of used to have that aura about him that people, you know, made people think he was special. And, you know, in the streets, or word on the streets is, you know, when you have like an aura, you have some motion, as folks would say.
The streets won't forget.
Yeah, they won't forget if you have motion. And the streets won't forget, you know, Peter Yan if he loses his fight. But, you know, I think, you know, Yadong is live here. And, you know, I'm not really interested in riding Yadong at this price. Pause. But I will find it kind of funny when Yadong just wings at Yan, and he just stands there with his guard up, and he's just eating massive hooks on his guard, and then loses a split decision. And everybody's going to go to Twitter and complain that it was like a horrible robbery, but you don't score points by not throwing punches. And getting hit in the guard in MMA, if you've ever had 4-ounce gloves on, gotten hit by somebody, it's still not fun. So I just feel like this fight is probably the biggest pass of all time. Like I don't want to bet this like at all. And I get betting Yan. But you know, I'm at a loss for like how to play this fight. I don't really even have an angle. I guess I'll pick Yan to win, but even at that, I feel like it's probably going to be a split decision.
So Lou knows this, but I do a thing every week called Historic Profitability, where I take all the UFC fighters that have all their UFC fights, and I figure out all the lines and see what their ROI is for their career. So there's 28 fighters on this card. 2 of them have never fought in the UFC before, so there's 26. Only 5 fighters have a negative ROI this week, which is very good. Mostly it's more than that. A lot of times it's more than 5. Only 5 have a negative ROI, and Peter Yan is fucking one of those people. $1,200 invested. You've lost $175 so far. So, I mean, Peter Yan, he must just be waking up every morning like going, what the hell happened? You know what I'm saying? Lou, how do you see this one? You got any love for Peter Yan here?
I'm going to love him. I like watching him fight. He's an OG. And he's young. Like, it's weird. Like, you feel like he's 38.
He is, yeah.
And I feel like I have not made the obligatory reference to the show Delocated because I'm talking about a Russian fighter. So I will make the obligatory reference that Peter Yan right now is probably drinking with Todd Barry at the pub. I know this is like a super obscure reference for a lot of our viewers, but like Delocated is free on Adult Swim, guys. It's a great John Glazer vehicle.
Yeah.
So let me just say the one thing that Dogfather didn't mention here. So when's the last time we saw Jan in a 3-round fight? It's been like 5.5 years. And what's Jan notorious for?
Losing
Not fucking winning round.
He's downloading data. He's downloading.
Wait, wasn't the O'Malley fight 3 rounds?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess it was. All right, never mind. Okay. Other than that, though, you dick. I'll have to be wrong with people. But like, so
he lost a split there. He lost a split there, though.
If Jan comes out with like urgency, does it even matter that much? Because like Yadong's decent in the first round too. Like he comes out hot. I don't think this look, it's the thinnest of margins. It's going to go to split, or it's going to go to a wonky. I mean, it's going to be 29-28, I think, at best. Yeah, I don't know if Sterling like took his soul, but like, I almost hope Jan loses and PFL just gives him like $11 billion to like fight once a year and like let this guy get a paycheck. But I'm gonna side with Song Yadong for the sake of giving a pick for the show. I'm never betting him. I'm just literally, if you're gonna spot me around, going on historical precedent, if you're gonna spot me around in a pick 'em fight or like a slight dog, I'm gonna get the guy who's like at least gonna be up 1-0 after 1.
Fantastic
yeah,
haircut.
But I like the split. I like the split parlay with this fight in Chukagan. I don't have much to add. I'm gonna root for Jan, and that's no offense to Song Yadong, man. Like he's fun to watch. I did have a bet on Ricky Simone against him, like an idiot.
Same.
Yeah,
that hurt my feelings.
Like, so you know what? So go Jan. Fuck you, Yadong.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Motherfucker. You asshole. Where's the Iron Sheik? Motherfucker. He's like the Raisin Balls Virgil. R.I.P. Virgil.
R.I.P. Virgil, of course. Next fight, banger fight, in my opinion. We've got JDM, Jack Della Maddalena taking on Gilbert Burns, -200. Wow, -200 fight doesn't go. +160 fight does go. That's interesting. -170 for JDM, +145 for Burns, 86.76. So 2 mid-range salaries here. I like this fight. I gave out on the Wednesday show a price pick over 10.5 minutes for Jack Della Maddalena in this fight. Look, obviously when he first came into the UFC, he was deading guys in the first round. You know, we got your Pete Rodriguez's, we've got your Ramazan Ameeves, your Danny Hot Chocolate Roberts. Even Randy Brown subbed him there, he subbed Randy Brown there is what I'm trying to say. Then of course the first adversity he saw coming was Basil Hafez, split decision against Kevin Holland. I don't understand why this one. I think this goes to decision, to be honest. Like Gilbert Burns is tough as hell. Maddalena has been finished, looks like twice in his pro career, but obviously not lately. I just think this one goes to decision, man. I think this is a close fight. Gilbert Burns has had trouble with grapplers recently, but against strikers, he's looked generally pretty good. Stephen Thompson's, your Neil Magny's, things like that. So I just think it goes to decision. I'm picking Jack Della Maddalena, but for DraftKings, I'm not going to be as high on JDM as I probably want to be. Love this guy. I was big on this guy for DraftKings throughout his career so far, but he's 72 and 83 points in his last 2, just not doing it for me, man. And Gilbert Burns not really the best scorer overall, especially in decisions. So give me the slight fade on this fight. I'm still going to play some in GPPs just in case, but I'm picking Maddalena, but I just don't know how he's going to score, man. And -200, maybe you guys can tell me why I'm wrong, and I'd love to hear it. What's up, Easy? Would love to hear why I think -200 ITD sounds a little crazy to me. Lou, tell me why I'm wrong.
You're wrong. First of all, you're wrong because I'm telling you you're wrong. That's number one.
Thank you.
Like, by the way, Hafez is like decent, man. Like, I don't know, he's decent on the regionals. Like, I think Hafez is like decent. Now, look, should that fight been as close as it was? Probably not. But like, I think Hafez is like, I don't think he's a scrub. Like, I think that was like a really tough matchup. That was a short notice matchup for Maddalena too.
See who he's fighting next?
No.
No, I give you a million. I give you a million guesses and you'll never fucking get it because you don't even know this guy is still in the UFC or not.
Hold on. I almost want to say
I think I sent it to you in the Discord actually, but
he's fighting Mickey Gall.
He's fighting Mickey fucking Gall. That's right, everybody.
He's gonna kill Mickey Gall, dude.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Someone was like, I hope I get plus money on Basel Hafez. I'm like, against Mickey Gall, he's gonna be minus 1,000.
Good luck.
What?
So look, man, maybe it's just that I work for an Australian company. Maybe it's that I talk to Big fucking Steve. Maybe I'm just like, maybe I like knifey spoony. Like, I don't fucking know, but like, I just like Della Maddalena here to get back on track, and I like him to knock out Burns. He's not submitting him, I'll say that much. I like him to get a knockout here, and probably I wouldn't be shocked if it was a round 1 KO. I just think that Burns maybe at this point, like, it's not like I don't know, like, I think Burns does well. He like the Masvidal fight's fine. Like he's supposed to go in there and smash him, and he fucking smash. Oh God, I don't want to talk about that fight. I have a bet. I have a bet for that fight. I do have a bet. Oh, I got to pull this fucking thing. I do have a bet for that fight. I want to talk about at some point the Paul Tyson fight. Not that there's lines, but I have a bet that I like. This is more like gut feeling than technique. I just think Maddalena is going to find Burns over and over and over again. I think he's not going to jump into bad positions on the ground. And I kind of just think he's working the body and like gets Burns out of there. Again, this isn't like a super technical reference, like a breakdown. This is just a gut feeling that I think Maddalena just beats the crap out of Burns here. Like, and I get it. Burns could get a takedown and maybe Maddalena doesn't get up. But like, I don't know, man. Burns has been shinned by like lesser strikers. So I just like Della Maddalena. And I like we keep saying, you know, like you get these guys like Della Maddalena where you're like, the fade's coming. The fade's coming. He won his last fight with Hafez and we lost the fade. Like he won and we lost the fade at the same time. But I kind of like him here. And like, shout out to Big Steve. He got Maddalena at like plus 140 or some shit when this thing opened. So he did his job. But yeah, I'm going to play JDM. We'll talk about the Paul Tyson fight at the end of the show. And I'll tell you why I like the one bet I like there.
That's right. Don Giacomo. There we go. Dogfather, what do you got here?
Yeah, I bet Maddalena at 125 plus 125. I actually am considering retaping and betting Burns, to be honest. This line's probably getting to the point where it's a little ridiculous. Like JDM minus 170, 175 range. I think it's even blown out even further to where I think it's inaccurate now. You know, Jack probably short favorite makes sense. And there might be more value on Burns because, you know, this is the best, you know, this is the best grappler that Maddalena has faced. Like I know Amiv is a solid grappler, but in terms of just jiu-jitsu, this is the best guy he's faced, and it's not really that close in my opinion. You know, there are concerns on the Burns side with his durability, his cardio, the age, but all of those things are pretty obvious, right? Like that's not hard to see. You can go on Tapology and figure that out. So I do want to get back in and look at this tape again. I do think Maddalena wins, but at what the current line's priced at, there's an opportunity for me to arbitrage the line a little bit and also maybe get on Burns if I do think there's that big of a discrepancy in the jiu-jitsu. But Maddalena is young, and he could be improving his ground game by leaps and bounds that we don't really know because we're just looking at the Hafez tape and watching him jump guillotine like an idiot 15 times. And saying, oh, he's going to get submitted. And then you look at the Amiv fight and you go, oh, he's going to get submitted. And then you watch the Lusa fight and you go, oh my God, he's going to get submitted. And you know what? It's possible here. And, you know, Burns isn't lost on the feet either. You know, nobody's talked about like the striking for Burns. You know, he's still a powerful guy. And, you know, his his striking's pretty basic. He kind of just wings, but he's still dangerous on the feet. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, Maddalena could get clipped here if, they get into a pocket exchange. Hafez was clipping him too. So I am, I am kind of tossed up on this fight with how the line is currently. I feel like we've gone a little bit too far. I bet Maddalena at plus money. I might be okay with it, but I do think at this price, you probably should just bet Burns or bet a submission.
There we go. And yeah, just because I think it just sounds Italian. Some Francis Ford Coppola shit. Don Giacomo just sounds cool. You know what I mean? Sounds cool to an old guy like me. Here we go. Coco main event. Yes, that is a 2005 Chevy Trailblazer for Kevin Holland taking on Michael Venom Page. Kelly Blue Book on Kevin Holland. Around 2,500 these days. No, it says 85 on the DraftKings there. Plus 105 does not go the distance, if I could speak. Minus 135 does go the distance. Minus 132 for Holland. Plus 112 for Michael Page, the ever so slight underdog here. Look, this is basically you're playing, Kevin Holland versus Kevin Holland here, as we mentioned earlier in the Ion Cutelaba fight. Yeah, I don't know. This guy stands up when he should be going to the ground with Stephen Thompson. He's just making crazy decisions all the time. 2-3 in his last 5. I like the guy. I love watching him fight. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just have a feeling about Michael Page here. I wouldn't be surprised if he finds a finish, to be honest. I'm going to play a little bit of both sides. Just so I think somebody's going to get finished. I know the line on it is minus 135 to go all 3, but I don't know why, but I'm just really looking forward to this fight, like a lot. I want to see how Holland reacts here to the striking style of Page, and I want to see how Page's striking style looks against Kevin Holland. So I'm gonna probably pick Page, but honestly, I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. And when Kevin Holland wins for DraftKings, he's really not scoring a ton of points. He scores actually pretty good in his losses, turns out, but in his wins, not the best. A first-round sub against Chiesa, for instance, only got him 95 points there. So pretty cheap this week. Lou, what do you think about this one between Holland and newcomer Michael Page?
I think this fight could end up looking like the most horrendously boring fight ever.
Oh, no.
I mean, I was tempted to take MVP at the price. Again, it's the same thing as like some of these other fights, like talking about like Song Yadong and Yan. I'm not comparing either guy skill-wise. I'm just saying, like, it's a fight that I think stays on the feet for 15 minutes, goes the distance. I think fight goes is kind of a decent play. I did give away Holland by Darshchuk as like he's got to go for a finish maneuver.
I did bring that up on the show earlier, by the way.
But Dogfather and I also came up with some other props we want to bet. We want to bet Holland by RKO. We want to bet him by Boston Crab. Like, it's amazing that a fight that's probably going to be boring has like 98 variable outcomes. That like would be like, had we not see that coming? Like,
he might citizens arrest Michael Page. Who knows?
I'll use Brady's special Holland by flying toe hold. Like, these are all in play.
MVP has a toe hold on his record. How hilarious would it be if he hit like an inside heel hook in a grappling exchange on Holland?
I feel like Brady would have his second kid on the spot. It would just be like, oh my God, had this hit.
Oh, here we go. 5-star frog splash.
Holland by reverse Sulev stretch.
Like, I like Holland a lot. Like, I like him more. I know he's an idiot. He also solves crimes, so I like that. Look, man, this is such like a thin margins fight. Like, let me just dispel one myth. Holland's not wrestling here. Like, and people that say he has like this huge grappling upside if he chooses. I mean, does Holland really? I mean, Logan Storley wasn't having it his way against Page. What the fuck's Holland gonna do? Like, like even against Chiesa, he didn't take him down. They just kind of fell to the ground. Like, and he took advantage of it. I don't know how this fight gets to Holland winning by Darce, but like I've said, if I don't bet it and it hits, I will just never fucking forgive myself. So
right.
I'm gonna pick Kevin Holland here to like kind of stay safe-ish, stay out of trouble. I don't really think anybody does damage to either one here. If there's one thing that separates it for me, and I know I don't love just capping on this, but like, man, dude, Page's like strength of schedule is so bad, man. Like he lost to Storley. I don't think he should have beaten Lima. And Paul Daly like fucking sucks, man. And that fight was like the worst fight I ever watched in my life. I'm pretty sure I had like a fight doesn't go, and I'm like, I knew it was done in 3 minutes. I'm like, these fuckers are gonna do nothing. So yeah, I agree with Damari. I don't know how it gets to him getting a Darce, but like again, I can't not play it.
Yeah, so, like I said, you'd never forgive yourself.
I don't have a lot of conviction here on the Holland pick. So like I'm not gonna bet it. I'm gonna bet the Darce just as a meme shit, but I'm not betting the fight. I would favor fight goes if I had to plan anything in this fight.
I say minus 500 for a third round opening hug for sure. Here we go. Attitude adjustment. There we go. Co-main event. We are wrapping it up here. Hit the like on this video.
Hold on. You didn't. Dogfather didn't go.
Oh, he didn't. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
These guys are probably gonna play touch butt in the park for 15 minutes, and this thing sails over. One of my favorite betting angles that I feel like it's not utilized enough is betting ultra durable guys that have finishes to go over, because a lot of the times you get a closely lined fight that sails over because both guys just can't finish each other somehow. Like I played for a recent example that I'm kind of using as the same angle on this fight is MAB versus Chris Curtis. The over was like minus 150 for them to have a sparring match.
Was never in danger.
Never in trouble. And the crazy thing is, let's say those guys went to war. That still might go over at a pretty high clip as well, because Curtis and MAB are both super durable. So
we have, by the way, we have a rule here. If you mention Chris Curtis on the show, you have to preface it with friend of the channel, Chris Curtis.
Friend of the channel, the action.
You really don't know my history with Chris Curtis, but if it turns out Chris Curtis is the one that reported my Twitter, I wouldn't be shocked.
Friend of the show and the action man, Chris Curtis, and MAB over was like one of my favorite. It was a good betting angle for me, and I'm going to employ the same betting angle here. Two guys with a lot of finishes, but are ultra durable. If I told you that Mike Perry and MVP did a bare knuckle boxing match and it went to decision, I would tell you who the hell and what universe. So if MVP is taking Mike Perry bombs with no MMA gloves on them, I would be really shocked if Holland somehow clips him with a right hand here and just puts him out. So yeah, I feel like the over is probably one of my favorite plays on this fight. And I feel like we sail over at 65%, where there's a ton of value on this. And like I said, these guys might play touch butt, or they might go to war. And even if they go to war, this still might go over. So I do like GTD, and I do like, fight goes, because both guys are super durable, and, there is upside for this looking like a staring contest.
For sure. I see that 100%. And now, didn't mean to skip over your last one. Co-main event. We've got God of War Benoit Saint-Denis taking on Dustin Diamond Poirier. Minus 450 does not go. Plus 325 does go. Minus 205 for BSD. Plus 175 the comeback on Poirier. 89, 7,300. I love this fight for DraftKings. That is, Benoit's got to be probably the best DraftKings player on the entire card. And that's including Ian Cutelaba. That's including Michael Olekseiejczuk. And actually, Jelton Almeida. Benoit averages more points than those guys, 122 per win. Over 6 points a minute, 5 points a minute at distance. over 6 inside the distance. What can't this guy do? I mean, he's just looked phenomenal in every single fight at lightweight so far. We all know that ref tried to murder him, but he is indestructible. So I'm loving this fight for DraftKings. I'm picking BSD for a big score. And you know what? If it doesn't happen, Poirier should score pretty well. And at 7,300, he could really pay off that salary. So I love this fight for DraftKings. If you're on the Poirier side, I totally get it. And he scores very well, like I said, when he wins outside of that Chandler win. Wait, what is going on there? Oh, third round sub. Yeah, he only scored 66. But other than that, he's been scoring fantastically. So give me BSD to get it done. I cannot wait for this fight. Dogfather, who do you like in the co-main event?
I got to go with BSD here. I think the line's accurate, and I think you should win. There's just too much grappling upside for BSD. I can't get past watching Dustin get taken down and give up his back in so many fights, and BSD just being he's a good back taker, and he's really good at getting hooks in along the cage. The striking's not, in my opinion, the striking's really not close. You have to favor Poirier, and by a sizable margin. I mean, his boxing is just levels above Benoit Saint-Denis in general. And, I know he didn't look good against Chandler, and some of his other performances were pretty lackluster. So that's how we get to this line, this dude didn't look very good against Chandler. He just got head kicked by Gaethje and then got dropped. He didn't get dropped. He got, pretty much covered completely by Chucky Olives on the mat. And, 2 wins against McGregor and a war against Hooker. That's how you get to this price tag. And I think it's accurate. So no real interest in betting the fight. I do like overs though. The over at 2.5 is plus 150, I think. Do we really? How does this finish under 2.5? I guess a Dustin KO, or BSD just mauling him in under 2.5. But I just can't see it. BSD's not Khabib. I don't think BSD has the danger level of Charles Oliveira, at least for me to unequivocally say that. And Dustin still took Khabib almost a 2-0 almost over 2.5, and the same thing with Charles Oliveira. So if you're telling me that this ultra durable guy in Benoit Saint-Denis gets KO'd by Dustin, I'd be surprised. And if BSD washes Poirier in under 2.5, I would also be surprised. I'm on the over 1.5 at minus 175, and it's blown out to bigger chalk now. But I'm interested in adding to the over 2.5 because I think we get a war, and somebody might die late. But I do think this goes longer than maybe the odds indicate.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention it. This one is a 5-round non-title fight for the co-main event. Lou, did you see these two in the face-offs, man? These guys are BSD looks gigantic. What how do you see this one going?
So I just want to address what Dogfather said. The only way I think this ends in under 2.5 is if we're getting diminishing returns on Poirier's durability.
True.
But in all fairness, there's a big difference between Justin Gaethje throwing fucking bombs at you and Saint-Denis. Gaethje is just, it's not even about durability, dude. If Gaethje lands flush, I just don't care who you are. You're getting dropped. So Saint-Denis is not now, and Saint-Denis, more than that, Saint-Denis works the body. He likes the kicks to the body. He doesn't really throw a lot of punches to the face. He kind of uses his punches to set up his feints to set up his kicks. It's weird. That's just how he is. Okay. Instead of breaking this down, I'm just going to quote something that our guy Santino DeFranco said this week because I thought it was hilarious and also it's so true. Santino DeFranco is like 0-9 betting Dricus Duplessis fights. He's like, there's no logic. The guy he's like, I break down the fights. I think he's going to lose. And then he goes out there and he wins. And I give up. He goes, so I'm not even overthinking it. Santini's just going to go kill him. And logic does not need to be said. He's just going to go out there and kick his ass. And honestly, I kind of just think that's what's going to happen. But to Dogfather's point, I kind of think like the round 4 and round 5 props are like kind of interesting here. Like the late finish, like attritional, like maybe Poirier is just fucking tired of getting up. Like maybe Poirier gets up a lot early and he just keeps getting mat returned. And like by like the 8th fucking takedown, he's like, fuck this, man. Like I'm tired of this.
Like, wait, how much am I getting paid for this fight? Oh yeah, I'm going to be done.
But I like the idea. And as far as Damari saying, what does BFD look like in the 4th and 5th? I mean, he's Kratos. So I've seen this dude fight for 8 straight hours on like game streams, just murdering fuckers.
Ghouls and shit.
I kind of feel like, I mean, dude, Santini in the 3rd round against Lesky dos Santos, like looked all right. Like didn't look terrible after
takedown.
Like he didn't look terrible after taking like the biggest. Like if there's ever a case for a 10-6, it was that 2nd round. And like he was kind of all right in the 3rd. It was crazy. So I don't worry about him. And he seems like the kind of guy, again, I don't have the proof yet, but we don't have the proof, but he seems like the kind of guy that like can fight through the cardio, like can get a takedown when he's tired and like kind of hold and like if you tell me this guy has like 3rd and 4th wins, like no shit. So I like Santini. I like the late round props a lot. I do like you over 1.5 at -175 is just fucking tremendous.
Beautiful.
Especially because like, don't you think the 1st round of this fight is a lot of like getting reads?
No, I think it's sweaty, actually. Because I think
the first going to be a lot of getting reads, dude. I don't think Santini's going to like. They got 5 rounds to work, and not only that, but like, Santini wins this. I know Gaethje like says he's next for Makhachev. I mean, if Santini like kind of goes out there and dominates, is he not in the conversation to get the next title shot?
I would
He's got to be in the conversation. So this is a big deal, and I think, look, with 5 rounds to work, I think he can go out there and kind of get his reads. And Poirier's not like some round 1 killer either. I forget about McGregor fights. Right. In general, I don't think Poirier's some round 1 killer. I think it becomes like a 10 of, and Poirier's coming off like a kind of a bad loss where I think maybe he has to going to mind his P's and Q's. I think the first round, I think the sweaty part is the 2.5 where like now they've settled in the fight, but I think round 1, you're probably safest. Just like maybe Santini gets a takedown, and I don't know. I mean, look, if he head kicks him into oblivion, like, okay, like it happens. But I like that over 1 at the price. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something to note here that I don't think a lot of folks have mentioned this week. This is southpaw and southpaw. That body kick's not going to be open for Saint-Denis because they're not in the mirrored stance where the lead side leg is open to kind of whip her all the way around.
The yam bag stance.
Yeah, we aren't in a yam bag stance here. So that body kick that's BSD's probably best weapon on the feet is not going to be available here. But what will be available, I know it's kind of a joke because, the McGregor stuff with the calf kicks, but the calf kicks are going to be open for Poirier here. And have we seen Benoit Saint-Denis check a calf kick in the UFC yet?
Well, he doesn't need to. He's like an unkillable robot.
I've had my leg kicked before, and if somehow Poirier does compromise his leg, we could be looking at something interesting here, because then BSD can't get on the front foot and he can't shoot takedowns because his front foot and front leg going to be jacked up to hell. So like I said, I really don't want to bet Poirier because I think he gets washed in the grappling. But like, if I'm watching this fight and I'm going, dude, this guy does not know how to check a leg kick, and Poirier's lighting his front leg up. Like, I know, this guy's quote unquote the toughest man in the world, blah, 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 former French military, et cetera, but you get calf kicked a couple times and your leg is dead, you can't move. And I don't think that's something that's been mentioned at all this week from anybody.
How do you cap him against Billy Wintergreen?
Oh, he's plus 200 at least.
Against former SAS Australian fighter Billy Wintergreen. For people in the chat, that would be best friend of Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke.
There we go. Billy Wintergreen reference.
I nerded out for 10 seconds and showed that I know something.
How do you cap Benoit Saint Denis versus Josh Parisian with a shovel?
Oh, I mean, it's God. Minus 150 BSD. Parisian can't bring that shovel around fast enough.
If it's the shovel from Uncle Buck,
is it his eating shovel?
If it's the shovel from Uncle Buck that flips the pancake, Parisian's a favorite. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dogfather, you know what I'm talking about?
Nope, I have no idea.
Buck, John Candy.
He makes one pancake the size of the whole stove, and he flips it with a fucking snow shovel, and it's like
that's probably the size of the pancake. Amazing. That's probably an accurate size for the pancakes that Parisian eats, to be honest.
John Candy was just absolutely fucking tremendous, man.
Oh, the best. And yeah, this is what I look like when I drive in Texas when these motherfuckers go 45 in the left lane. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Monk, you could honestly pass off for Saint Denis with the look. You know what I mean?
He needs to improve his physique a little bit, but I think we're pretty close, to be honest.
Yeah, he just needs to get on your level and take some TRT. He'll get there one day.
A lot more Whataburger BSD. That's what you got. You don't have those in France. We got to get you some. We did it, guys. Main event. We got a good one here. Sean O'Malley, the bantamweight champion, taking on Chito Vera. Plus 100 doesn't go. Minus 130 does go. Minus 260 for Sean O'Malley. Plus 220 for Chito Vera. 9,200 7K. Look, man, I got the Chito hoodie on. I'm a Chito fanboy. I'm picking Chito to win this one. But for DraftKings, I think he's a great punt play, man. At $7,000, we're getting a guy that has never been finished. And how many points does he score if this goes all 5? Plus, what does it look like if this is a split decision? What if Bruce Buffer reads one judge's score before the others? We know it's a split. I mean, I'll be loving it at 7K. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say about Sean O'Malley's finishing possibilities here against Vera, because without a finish, I don't think that he scores very well. Even in a 5-round fight, even against what Uncle Weezy referred to as a human punching bag, which that hurt because I'm a Vera fan, but I can't disagree with him. I mean, Font landed almost 300 strikes against him, but didn't look like he was landed 30 strikes against him. So I don't know what to think about that. But I think without a finish, I don't know how O'Malley is going to score, especially when it comes to rounds 3, 4, and 5. So, Lou, why don't you start us off here? What do you think about this main event?
Well, it was so funny because so Pepe gave away fight ends and split on the prop show, and Big Steve gave away Vera 4-5.
Nice.
And I took the easy way. Now I just leave that one up on the screen. Put that one back. I think the best way to play this, I mean, again, and when's the last time Vera won round 1? Was probably against O'Malley.
Munoz.
Oh, that's right. It was debatable. Or did he get it across that was round 2? That was the dicey one. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, he still won round 1, but it was close, right? So
I think that a live entry here works, because even if Vera does win round 1, you're still going to get dog money. Yeah, you won't get plus 220, but you probably get a pretty good price. And if he loses round 1 and O'Malley's just jabbing him, Vera goes up to what? Plus 500?
Mm-hmm.
450, something like that. I mean, look, there's a lot of unknowns in terms of we haven't seen O'Malley late in fights. We did see O'Malley hit Matinho 65,000 times and didn't look tired doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's no resistance and you're just fucking target practicing a guy, of course you're not going to get tired. Vera's going to have resistance, you know. And then there's the mental aspect. Like, I know the Sugar Athletic Commission said it was a win for the Sugar Show against Vera.
Yeah.
But like the real commission disagrees, and like it's got to be in his head, like that first leg kick that lands, it's got to be in his fucking head, like, oh shit.
And that Cheeto said
and
he's going to come out and do it.
Gonna feel empowered, like, and Vera's going to feel empowered to be like, dude, I can leg kick this guy. Like, I know I can reach him. So all that being said, look, I'm going to pick Sean O'Malley to win a decision for the show. I'm not going to bet this fight unless I do a live entry. I kind of think the big money fight they have on the table, well, for the division anyway, is going to be Marab minus 1,000 against Sean O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm going to root for Vera. I'll live entry if I think the number's good. If he wins the first round and it's still kind of hanging at 180, 170 range, I don't know if it will be, but I'd probably jump on that too. But I'm still going to pick O'Malley to probably win the first 2 rounds just by jabbing, and then he's got to win one of the last 3. And honestly, I could see a wonky decision going O'Malley's way anyway here.
Dogfather, take us home. What do you think about this main event here?
I bet Vera here at
nice.
plus 235. The line doesn't make sense. Sean's never been 5. It's, I hate to say it, but like, it's kind of as simple as that. Like, you're giving me an ultra durable guy who's been 5, who has leg kick upside, on a guy who's going to skirt the cage on the outside. There's something to be said, when somebody like Vera can switch stances and kick from both sides. When Sean's circling to his left, he can use his left body kick and leg kicks. And when Sean's circling to his right, Cheeto can go and throw the low kick or, the body kick on the other side to corral him and keep him in front of him. Something that I think is really important for this matchup specifically, because Sean is going to utilize his movement to kind of cut the pressure off. And something that, Cheeto has improved on, and I think doesn't get a lot of credit for, is, yes, Rob Font is landing a bazillion strikes, but he does a pretty good job at keeping a high guard, and his defense is good. So as much as Sean is going to be peppering him, and this could look like the Corey Sandhagen fight again, there's not the threat of a takedown that causes Cheeto to freeze here, which, in my opinion, is what Sandhagen implored in round 1 that made that game plan for him very effective. If you watch Corey in the Song Yadong tape, he did the same thing. Shot a bunch of takedowns early, and as soon as he feinted a shot, Song was ready to sprawl because he doesn't want to lose any minutes off getting a takedown. O'Malley doesn't impose that same threat of the takedown here, and Vera can be out on the offense, pressuring O'Malley, cutting O'Malley off with kicks, and over time accumulating enough damage that Sean isn't the crisp, clean striker he is in these later rounds at 3, 4, and 5, when, in my opinion, Cheeto's improved his boxing over time as well. Before, he used to have, his hands used to be, pretty lacking. And when I go back and watch the tape, and I actually saw him utilize a jab more than once or twice. I mean, he got completely boxed up against, Rob Font now, who's a much better boxer, than Vera. But if you watch that Rob Font fight and tell him, oh, hey, by the way, Cheeto Vera in his 2 or 3 fights from now is going to land 50 jabs on Pedro Munoz, you'd go, who the hell are you talking about? This is not the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's made improvements in the striking that, I can see on tape that lead me to believe that he's only 31. Like, folks are forgetting that this age gap is not wide. Like, Sean O'Malley is this superstar, and I agree, the UFC.
He's like 31 going on 63, though.
I don't think I've ever seen this man get a cut in the UFC.
I mean the way he looks. He looks
like
yeah,
I mean he looks like he like could run a cartel, right? But
like a weathered fisherman.
Yeah. But like it's crazy that, you know, O'Malley's just like crazy, you know, exciting up and coming prospect superstar. It's like there's like a 2.5, 3 year age gap on these guys. Like it's not that big of an age gap.
It's actually less than 2 years.
Really? It's even less. Yeah. So there you go. It's even less than 2 years. And yet O'Malley is this shining superstar prospect. These guys are 2 years apart. And the one time we saw them fight, as soon as Vera got on top of him in guard, he elbowed his face into oblivion. Now, I don't care if your leg is jacked up or not, but if you're in closed guard and somebody elbows your head through the canvas, that's a bad look.
Mm-hmm. For sure. We did it. I think we did it, everybody. All 14 fights with a fantastic special guest, Dogfather. I want to thank you again for helping us break these fights down. Before we go, Lou, I need 2 things. I need a yam bag play. I need a yam bag play, and I need you to rip, like you said, rip through your picks before we get on out of here.
Kudiabalins is the yam bag play.
I was gonna say that was my guess.
Come on, dude.
That was my guess.
Quick soccer plays for. I'm not gonna do any breakdowns, but 3 plays I like in my favorite league ever, the Eerste Divisie, Netherlands League 2.
Of course,
I like Cambuur first half over and a half with plus money. I like Den Haag Roda. Both teams to score over 2.5. Den Haag's been like my fucking team all year with this. You're getting good odds there. And a 2-leg parlay with Fortuna Dusseldorf in Bundesliga 2. Both teams to score. And PSV team total over 1.5 in Netherlands top league. And you get almost even money for the team total over 1.5 there. So I like those 3 plays. Only play I really want to give away on Saturday, other than the Jizz Tits parlay. Phil Tits now plus 180 to score. The bookies have gotten us, man. They know. Phil Tits was like plus 280 every week. He's at a plus 180. Jizz Hornkamp is like plus 590 to score because they're trying to get blown out. Always take the Jizz man there. Only bet I like the most odds-wise on Saturday. I don't understand this number. Crystal Palace and Luton. Both teams are scoring over 2.5. You just want to play the over 2.5, it's minus 110. I would ladder it. All Luton's been doing lately is playing like Luton Town has been playing like 4-4 games. And Crystal Palace just got a new coach who's like, all we're doing now is going on offense. This 2.5 is like a criminally low number. And this is going to be one of those numbers where like next week it's going to be minus 175. So ladder this. The over 4.5 is like plus 650. I fucking love it. Ladder with these 2 teams. That's all I got for soccer. Last thing I want to say before we sign off, this stupid Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, my 30 seconds on this. There's no way they're going to sanction his professional bout because of the weight difference. Just not any age difference. It's never happening. It's going to be an exhibition bout. Whatever the over is, I mean, Jake Paul is not knocking Mike Tyson out, and Tyson's going to like literally just spar them because like he actually likes Jake Paul for elevating like boxing in the public eye. It's probably going to be an 8-round fight. I like the over, and if it's an exhibition, no joke, fucking bet the draw.
There we go.
I'm serious because Jake Paul's probably going to be the busier fighter, and Tyson's not going to give a shit, dude.
No,
he's not going to throw one meaningful punch in that fucking fight. So it's sad, but I whatever the over is, that's like a max bet. It's Tyson's never hitting him in that fight, and Jake Paul's not knocking him out.
Wouldn't it be hilarious though if just Mike Tyson just showed up in round 1 ready to take Jake Paul's head off? Wouldn't that be amazing?
It would be great. And also, look, I get that there's a case to be made. Like if Jake Paul comes out hot and just starts landing shots like Tyson's fucking around, that he gets pissed. And like all of a sudden this goes from like, like,
yeah,
fuck, I pissed off Mike Tyson. Like, but I kind of think
like that guy on the plane.
But I kind of think we get like Mayweather Logan Paul again, where it's like, they're just gonna screw around. They're gonna throw a couple of jabs from the outside. Like nobody's gonna fucking do anything, man. Like I can honestly, I wouldn't shock me if it was a draw because boxing's whatever it is, and then they can just do a rematch and make like all the money. Again,
right.
It's on Netflix too, which is so fucking weird.
Which is interesting. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
They're getting into the WWE. Now they're getting into boxing. I'm wondering if they're going to be in Dana White's ear in the next 3-4 years.
That would actually be a UFC deal with Netflix would actually probably be awesome.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this.
I'm shocked that they didn't take so Peacock has all like the WWE like the archives, which like if you're an old school wrestling fan, like dude, and they own like other leagues, like it's a very vast library. I'm kind of surprised they didn't take UFC's like incredible library of events, just package those two as like a streaming service. Because dude, if you were charging me like $14.99 a month to have both, I'd do it.
Yeah, get it off and it would be worth Fight Pass.
Dude, as an old school wrestling fan, it's great when I get drunk and I want to watch like Terry Funk matches from the fucking 80s or 70s.
Give me
and then if I'm doing tape studies, like, oh, cool, they have everything here I need that's like in the UFC. Like, I think that would be like $14.99 would be awesome for that. Like, but anyway, that's all I got. That's all I got. And watch out for my new weird idea to come back to Twitter.
There we go.
You two know about already.
Yes.
Dogfather, why don't you tell the people again? Thank you so much for being here. Tell the people anywhere they can find you or anything you do for UFC stuff.
I am in the Big Brain Discord with our good friend imprisoned Lou Betya, with Big Steve, Pepe, Pierce, bunch of other sharp guys. That's how I got connected with Lou and, obviously Couch Warrior Mike. We also know each other through Mike. But I'm in, Steve's Discord a bunch. I'm in another Discord called the MMA GOAT Clubhouse, which is, mostly just like young bettors or folks that are around my level, who just give out my plays and stuff and thoughts on fights and sometimes post regional stuff. Mostly for me, like I spend probably more time and effort taping regionals. So like this weekend, I maybe spend 20% of my time looking at these UFC cards, but 80% of my time is spent on this week, like PFL, CFFC, LFA, Aries, ACA, and Fury on Sunday. So it's like, there's a ton of cards this week. So I probably spend 80% of my time looking at that. Like tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., if you guys want to watch some MMA, Aries FC is on, and I have 2 bets tomorrow morning. And so, I'll be, working and, have the fights on like in the background as I listen and watch me lose money or win a lot of money. That'd be great.
Nothing like winning money while you're on the clock.
Unless it's rigged like today. Unless you're on the right side of the rigging.
Yeah, exactly. I was on the wrong side of the rig, so Pepe and I had the same bets for that fight too. So like we were just talking to each other and just telling. I was just telling. Dude,
he lost the bet during the prop show. He's like, "Fuck." I'm like, "We're live, dude. Like we're actually like doing the show right now. We're on air."
I was just telling him how washed I am. I'm like, I'm so washed. Like I need to stop. Meanwhile, it's like I had a really good week last week, and like this week everything goes bad, and you're like, I'm so washed. It's time to hang right. It's over for me.
Dude, you were smashing fucking everything.
Last week
and like Loic round 3, like the live bet on him, and like you were just like, dude, you were hitting like every +5 and 600 bet like that was out there, dude.
All the lives last week killed it for me, which was nice. So yeah, I had a good week last week, but then you have one like bad day, and you're like, it's so over for me. I can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
Well, let's switch it up again. Let's go back up
to
peaks this week.
Years, dude. See how you feel. It's like
I can't believe they planted a splinter in the cage to ruin my bet.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is wild. We got to find out who did that shit. Well, again, Dogfather, Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have anything else going on this week. Lou, hopefully they're feeding you all right in there. And we're still working on your release. I got a big fat envelope for a judge or two. So we're doing our best out here. And that's going to do it, guys. As usual, we want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.